Coming up in today's episode.
Well, that food was a flop.
It's giving me all the feels.
We are here, but we can't find the entrance. So there's a reason we came early in the morning, because just check all of the people. It's very nice fun, but this whole day people have been staring at us like crazy. And then flight delay.
We're Quentin and DNA, two guys trying to visit 40 countries before we turn 40.
We're taking the world on by trying to explore different countries, cultures, food, and by being as adventurous as possible.
We decided to film all of this for our future selves to look back on for one day when we are older. So let's go on a Kiwi travel adventure.
Hi, future Quentin!
And hi, future VNA.
And to all our friends and family watching, and today we are going to Ephesus! Izmir!
So we woke up early to take our shuttle to the airport, and on our way to the airport we saw a last glimpse of the hot air balloons as we left Gorin. It was still dark outside and it was a beautiful sight to see. Then we arrived at Kayseri Airport and it was the longest queue we've ever encountered. We lined up outside the airport. We had to get into a queue to get inside the airport, get into a queue to be checked through security, get into a queue to check in, and then get into another queue to get through to security, and one final queue to board the plane. Now our flight was with Sun Express. It was quick, short, about 45 minutes, and we finally arrived in Izmir. From the airport we took the train to get to our accommodation. Now the train was confusing at first as there were two different types of trains that you could use, but we figured it out and eventually we made it to our hotel.
So we are checking in at Kozan City Hotel, and we are staying in room 502, which is coincident because in Istanbul we also stayed on room floor. So here we go. Very basic, but it's here. So for Izmir, this is our stay. So we have two single beds. We think that they did this on purpose because they saw we had two men. Obviously they don't know, but we won't say anything. So yes, two single beds over here. Some extra blankets, some kitchen thing over there, and then over there finally we have a little coffee station, which is something we didn't have. Then over here we've got the aircon, we've got some cupboard space to store the bags, which we've already done because we are going out now for the day. And then on this side here we've got the television over here. Not that it really helps, because something that we noticed is everything is in Turkish. There's literally no English channels, not even the radio station. So in any case, not really for us. Then over here is the mini bar over here, and then on this side we have the toilet and the shower. So shower over there, and then right next to it is the toilet. So yes, all basics, but exactly what we need for 2 nights before we head back to Istanbul. So after we checked into our hotel, we took a walk to the Agora. So we went through our local neighborhood, which is very interesting to see. It was kind of dingy, but also not. But it was quite interesting to see, again, a lot of mosques that we went past.
So we are having some Chiang Mai Thailand flashbacks. We are here at the Agora, where we want to be, but we can't find the entrance.
And no one can speak proper English to help us. They only said right. So now we're writing and we're going to our second right.
And if we are not writing again and we can't get in, then it's too bad.
20 minutes later.
And we have made it, finally. So yeah, here it is. Let's see what it looks like inside.
10 seconds later.
We just stopped by some local place and we found one of the traditional dishes there, kokoreg, whatever it's called. It's basically a lamb sandwich. Well, the guy says it's lamb. Can I taste it? Raw. It's thingy. The thing I like so much.
What?
Flank. It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's why it's so stringy.
Oh.
Ooh, that one tastes alive. Nice bread. Can't get the thingy, so let's go deeper.
Quite goed. Well, that food was a flop. I didn't taste it, so I just quickly gave it to some homeless people over there, because they call it haram. Can't waste haram, so yeah, rather gave them the food. So yeah, Vienna is not impressed. Let's vote. And then after our horrible trial of the Kokorek, we headed finally inside to the Agora. Now the Agora is basically a city that was built by Alexander the Great, which was quite cool and interesting to see. So the biggest part of the remains that are still there is basically the water system, which is running underneath the city, of which is the place where they actually stored all of the water. And this is truly beautiful to see, with all of the arches that you can still see there. And all of this was basically underground and underneath the city. So this was truly awesome to see, and we spent quite a bit of time taking some photos over here.
Thereafter, we strolled down to the Izmir Bazaar. We started our tour at the fresh produce side. This is where all the locals would shop for their daily meal. Everything from the sea to the land was for sale, including vegetables and fruit. And we made our way through all the different stalls, from the jewelry section to the clothing, and then finally to the food section so we could get something to eat. After lunch, we walked to the famous Izmir Plain, which hosted the famous Izmir clock tower, which was designed and created by the same artist who did the Eiffel Tower. Now, right next to this beautiful clock tower was the most intriguing little mosque. This mosque is known as the Konak Mosque, and at the time that we visited there, it was time for the call of prayer, and we decided to take it all in, take in the beauty of the architecture of this beautiful mosque and also the beauty of the prayer. We also discovered that the Konak Mosque was the very first mosque built in Izmir, and thereafter we turned our focus to the beautiful artistry of the clock tower, which was surrounded by these beautiful pigeons that would, as you approach them, just fly up and soar into the sky. And we further explored the square, and it was just a delightful sight. And as you look up, you are surrounded by the beautiful flag of the country. We also made our way to a local bakery and tried some more local delicacies.
So we are here at Marco's Cafe. It seems to be a very famous spot. So we are going to try the Izmir bomb, which is this one first. And then we've also got something called boils. So let's see how it is. Food tour. It's chocolate, and it's a lot of chocolate. It's almost like a brown kind of a thing, which is nice. And let's try the boyos. It's hot. This is called boyos. Let's try that. So we came to this spot because all of the locals are sitting here in front, so that's why we're having this. Not really tasting anything yet, but it's definitely like a pastry kind of thing. I swear it's just pastry. It's nice, but I think it's just pastry.
And then directly after that, as per our tradition in every country, we went into the local grocery store, and then we got some items that were ridiculously cheap, a lot cheaper than you would get here in South Africa. And it's always so interesting to see what the grocery stores look like in every single country.
The next morning, we took an early morning train to head to the main attraction of Izmir.
Yay! It's actually so interesting because our train, as you can see, is very nice. We've got a little table over here. We've got some breakfast over here. We've got some limonata, which is obviously the thing that they all drink here. This is quite nice. We're really liking this. We've got some breakfast. We've got a summit over here, some coffee and so forth on our table. And there, but the interesting thing is this train ride is about, I think, 80 minutes or so. It's only costing us 40 rand. How crazy is that? 40 rand! That's ridiculous.
The 80-minute train ride allowed us to view the beautiful landscapes of the countryside, and then we arrived in a small town just next to Ephesus, which is Selçuk. We hopped off the train and then we took a taxi ride to Efes! We entered through the south gate because it was a quicker route to get to the library, because we wanted to take in the experience without any of the crowds, and also to do our general photo shoot. And thereafter we ran to get to the amphitheater to also experience it without the massive crowds.
10 seconds later.
So there's a reason we came early in the morning, because just check all of the people. There's the library, and now you see this masses of people. That's why we came early. At least we got the shot we wanted.
Yes,
that's
we
the
did.
important thing.
So the Greek theatre hosts about 25,000 people, and the sound quality is absolutely amazing. It really is. If you stand right at the bottom, I did like a quick clap test, and then you would hear it echoing right up into the back. So yes, it was truly awesome to just see it with as less people as possible. And it was also obviously very cool to stand in the actual theater where Apostle Paul was when he spoke to the Ephesians, and basically where the letter in the Bible, the letter to Ephesians, comes from. So that was so cool to actually see and explore that. And then thereafter we strolled along the main street between the amphitheater and the library, where they usually had like their little markets and stalls. So then we went back to the northern gate. Now this is quite a walk. I think it took us about 10-15 minutes walk just to get to the top. We didn't really try to see anything on our way back up, so that we can explore everything as we went down. Now we downloaded the Rick Steves app, which is so cool, because with the Rick Steves app we basically put the earbuds into our ears, and then we listened to a walkthrough tour. So we didn't need a guide, because Rick Steves on the app was basically our guide, and he explained everything to us. So you basically walk little bit by little bit, and he would tell you, okay, walk this way, and on your left hand side you would see this, and on your right hand side you would see that. So it's very cool. Now the city of Ephesus, here's a quick history lesson, was quite big. It was once one of the biggest, I think the second biggest city just after Rome, and it hosted about 250,000 people. And obviously it was just it was a port, so it was just by the sea. Nowadays obviously the ocean and the sea is not there anymore, as it receded back, but yes, it was a port. And this is obviously also the city, like I said, that Apostle Paul came to, and Maria, Jesus' mother, was also said to have been here at one stage. Now Ephesus was once one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, which is also cool, because we are starting to tick all of those things off on our bucket list as well. But it was truly so amazing to see. It was absolutely awesome. I would highly recommend anybody to go there. And this is also the reason we flew to Izmir, obviously, is to go to Ephesus, and it was definitely worth it. I think maybe next time we'll take like a road trip to also do the Turkish Riviera, which is right next to it.
After our beautiful trip at the ancient city of Ephesus, we headed back to the small town of Selçuk, and here we decided to have lunch.
So as we do in every new country we go to, we have to try their beer. So here we go. We are having Efes, and what makes this special is this is obviously their local beer, but what makes it even more special is we are close to Efes. So Efes is the word for Ephesus. So here we go. So let's try it out. It looks very strong though. Let's see, 100% malt. Ooh, it's gonna be better. 5% alcohol. Let's see.
I know this. Castle Light. Castle Light.
It is very strong. It is a typical beer, but it's also soft at the same time.
It's giving me all the feels.
Together with the Sprite, that's why we always take Sprite and the beer. It's going to work perfect. And also, just quickly check behind Vianney. You'll see there are these men sitting there, and there's like an entire village basically just behind him, and it's just men coming together and playing a rummy cup. There's more. This is the oddest thing we have ever seen.
Indeed.
And they stare at the two of us like hectically.
Because I've never seen such beautiful human beings dressed so perfectly matching with each other.
So there is something we have to discuss that has never happened to us before. So obviously we've got our cute little outfits for the day, but this whole day, it's been a nice fun, but this whole day people have been staring at us like crazy. They would look at us quickly and then do a double take to see if they are seeing correctly. They would literally stop their conversations with each other and then look at us, stare at us, and this has been ongoing the whole day.
So, another thing in this beautiful place is that English is non-existent. They don't speak it, they don't put it on notice boards or anything at all. People will even have full conversations with you in Turkish, and for some other reason they always just think I am Spanish, so they start flowing over with whatever language they know from there. So that's it.
No English, you can forget about it. Not on board, nowhere. Actually, where there is English, such as restaurants or so, usually those prices are higher as well.
Yes.
Now the next day, this was then the end of our trip in Izmir, or so we thought, but then we needed to head back towards the airport, so we took the train, and then when we got to the airport,
So we just checked in, we are finished at Izmir, and we thought we are right on time just so that we can do everything, and then flight delay with 1 hour and a half. So we are sitting here at the airport for an extra hour and a half, so let's see what we'll do for an hour and a half extra.
now basically for the extra hour and a half, we just decided to walk through the airport. We stopped at the Starbucks, and this is basically where we started to fall in love with Starbucks, future Quentin and future Vianney, because then we saw that they actually have different seasonal coffees, which we absolutely love. And then thereafter we decided, as we have the time, to go for a super cheap massage. It was only like 10 Rand, which was awesome, in these chairs that are all over the airport. So that was quite nice to try. And then we hopped onto the plane. We boarded the plane to Istanbul, and we actually had some great food. Then we landed back in Istanbul.
So, in conclusion, Izmir is really worth everything. The ancient city of Ephesus is extremely beautiful. It is delightful, and it's a wonderful taste into the olden day. And to see all of these ancient ruins still being in such a beautiful state was quite wonderful to see, and it was just absolutely wonderful to take this in as a preview to what awaits us in Greece one day. So that was quite wonderful. The food is absolutely delightful. We just can't get enough of the food of this country.
So yes, that brings us to the end of our time at Izmir, because next up we are going back to Istanbul. So see you on the other side.
Next time on Kiwi Travel Adventures. And then finally we were on board back.
Or so we thought. Bum bum bum, because now something happened. Now, first off, we went to the Blue Mosque, but it was not as cool as we thought it would be. It was actually a bit of a disappointment.